Hey everyone, I'm your host Cadence, and welcome back to another episode of Project Honesty, a podcast designed for young adults by a young adult to gain brutally honest, friend-like advice, as well as provide a platform for young adults to form opinions, color outside of the lines, take deep dives into current events, and most importantly, have fun. This is Project Honesty, navigating reality with real conversations and diverse opinions. Last week's episode, we did reading Am I the Asshole Reddit threads, funny stories with brutal honesty. A lighthearted, hardly edited, and hilarious episode reading Am I the Asshole Reddit threads. Tune in to hear my funny and brutally honest responses. Today, we're going to be doing literally the exact same thing, because I'm trying to end the year off with some casual topics, because it gives me a break from editing so much. And it also gives you guys the opportunity to see what I am when I'm a total goofball. So that's exactly what we're doing today. Before I start, I just want to say that if y'all have any funny life stories that you would possibly be open to sharing on next week's episode, you can pop them into the comments below, and they have a possibility of being shared on next week's episode, because next week is all about crazy life stories from people from all walks of life. So that is kind of going to be that's going to be the second last episode of this year. So if you have any funny stories, pop them in the comments below and maybe get featured. Who knows? So let's jump right into reading Am I the Asshole responses and comments. So the first one, I think I have the same amount that I did last episode, but I don't actually know. Am I the asshole for wanting some personal space? My girlfriend, 24 female, and I, 24 male, have been dating for over 4 months. We hang out a lot, usually Mondays and Tuesdays or Wednesdays. Whoa. First of all, you guys have a schedule for when you hang out? It's a little weird, but okay, I'm not judging. On Thursdays, she comes to my house and stays here until Sunday morning. Oh, so she's just there for like 4 days in a row. Cool, okay. Some of those days I feel stressed and don't want to meet with her. Sundays are especially hard because she doesn't want to leave, but I feel like I need some space for myself. We've argued about this issue and she always comes up with the same question: what will happen when we live together? To which I have no answer. I love her, but I need some time for myself, thinking about my life, studying, spending time with friends or family, all those kinds of things. Am I an asshole? Okay, to me, so I am like that in a way where it's like, I could be with my literal soul tie, like my sister basically, and still want a little bit of personal space. And I've known that girl for like 4 years. You and your girlfriend have only been together for like a little over 4 months. And I mean, you guys clearly don't live together full time. But what I think is weird that I've already pointed out is that you have a schedule for when you guys hang out. I don't know if this has anything to do with like her work schedule or school, y'all's school schedules, whatever. It's a little weird that you have to schedule that sort of thing, considering the fact that you're in a relationship, but maybe that's just me. I don't think it's unreasonable to ask your girlfriend for personal space. As much as you love someone and as much as you want to be with someone, you're allowed to want a minute alone. And especially like, I feel this because I like my personal space. And when I say personal space, like my bedroom, like I don't want people intruding on that space, and his apartment or whatever might feel like his sanctuary. And so when she's there all the time, it kind of feels like she's intruding his sanctuary. So I get where he's coming from. And I don't think you're an asshole. I think this situation can be solved with the magical thing called communication. If you want personal space, you can ask for it. And with her bringing up the question of what will happen when we live together, well, you're not living together anytime soon, clearly. So, I mean, that's something that you can solve when you get to it, sort of thing. But also, you still deserve personal space when you live together. Just because two people live with each other doesn't mean they have to be with each other all damn time. Like, no, that's not a thing. So I don't think you're an asshole for wanting some personal space from your girlfriend. Okay, next one. Am I the asshole for not going to church? This one stuck out to me because I am a not religious person, and so this was a little controversial for this person to post, and something that I also agree with. But anyways, that's not the point. Let's get to it. I posted here before, maybe 6 months ago, about an issue I had with my mom putting me on a diet and a bunch of other things because she has dementia and doesn't know any better. Whoa, okay, geez. Ooh, that's, whoa. Okay. With that sentence in the title of this post in mind, I'd like to make it very clear. I don't think religious people or religion is insane. I don't think my mom goes to church because she's cognitively impaired. She was raised Catholic, and it's completely is in all caps, within her right to attend church every Sunday if she chooses and if that's what makes her happy. Here's the issue, though. I, male, 17, okay, so basically an adult, still live with her, my father and my brother, all of whom are religious and take their faith seriously. I have no issue with this. Although I'm an atheist, I haven't been religious at all since I was maybe 10. Although my family takes their religion seriously, they seldom went to church for the past 10 years because they were busy or simply didn't want to. Recently, however, they've decided to go every Sunday, even if it conflicts with schedules. I try not to go because I personally find that it's a waste of my time, and I typically spend Sundays catching up on homework. My parents keep getting increasingly upset over it, which I understand somewhat because they wanted to raise me Catholic and I didn't turn out that way. However, I haven't been religious for an incredibly long time and I don't intend to convert for them. They hold the fact that they provide food, shelter, and pay medical bills for me over my head every time I don't go, insisting that, quote, "We do a lot for you and the least you could do is go to church." But they're required by law to do those things for me anyways, and I don't think it's I don't think it's a fair comparison. I know some people would consider me the asshole because I'm not humoring them and church doesn't take too long, but I feel like I'm somewhat in the right here. Am I the asshole? My perspective on this is like, I didn't grow up in a religious household. My parents aren't like go to church religious people. The first time I stepped foot in a church, I was 16, which is the age I am right now. So that just shows how inexperienced I am with religion and going to church and whatever. And for me, like, this guy's an atheist. I would say I'm probably not an atheist completely. Like, there's energy up there. I don't know what it is, whatever. That's not important. I don't think as someone who doesn't subscribe to certain faiths and God or religions or whatever should be kind of forced into that, whether it has family. And like the tie between religion and family can be very stressful at times for people. And I think it puts a lot of divisions in families when religion is in play and someone is religious and someone isn't religious. It can create a lot of barriers for those people and the communication that they have. You're almost 18, dude. I think it's time to, like, you can make that decision yourself. And it's a problem with your parents where they should probably respect that, because once you are legally 18, you have no obligation to do as they ask. And I don't like when parents do the thing where it's like, well, we provide food, shelter, and pay medical bills for you. He's almost an adult, but he's still 17, and guess what? You're his parents. So good job for doing the bare minimum, but that's what you signed up for, being a parent. So that's not something you can hold over your kid's head without kind of sounding abusive. You know? When you have a kid, you sign up to take care of them in that way until they are most agree to that, until they're legally 18, and then they kind of let them off the hook a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. I think if you're using the time to do homework and other things that benefit your life in a different way than going to church, and like you're using that space not to do, like, it's not like you're doing drugs or you're partying on Sundays instead of going to church. Like, you're doing things to be a good student and a good person. So I don't think going to church is necessarily, like, not going to church is a big deal. If it were me, though, I'd try to do, like, okay, I'll go once a month. Like, sometimes you just have to suck it up. And is it horrible if you just go sit in a room while they talk about God for, like, I don't know, how many hours is church? 2? I think despite the fact that you are an atheist, I think it wouldn't hurt to just go once a month. And that's coming from someone who doesn't necessarily believe in religion either. And I think you're not an asshole for not humoring them, but also you can humor them. Just because you go to church doesn't mean you have to sit there and accept all the things that are being said, right? So I think, yeah, you're not an asshole, but there could be a different, less aggressive approach to how you decide not to go to church with your family. So yeah, I don't think you're an asshole, but there's another way to navigate that. Am I the asshole for not watering my wife's plants? This one, honestly, I picked it because the wording is so funny. Not necessarily the story, but the wording in this is so funny. You guys are going to love it. Okay. Me, 42 male, and my wife, 41 female, have been married 3 years. My wife has many good qualities, but she is quite disorganized and more than a little lazy. She loves gardening, but I think it's more that she likes the idea of gardening because she is terrible at it. She is the Saddam Hussein of plants. Oh my god. Okay. She not only has a poor idea of how to garden, in brackets it says what plants need, what kind of care, etc., but mostly because she is so lazy her plants die from neglect. The amount of care needed to keep her plants alive is probably no more than 5 to 10 minutes a day, but she can't even manage that. Her position is that it makes her happy and doesn't really affect me, so what do I care? In my position, that it's slightly psychopathic to claim to love plants, but not put in even a very modest amount of effort to keep said plants alive. It doesn't make sense to me. Our compromise on this is that we just agree to disagree. I turned a blind eye on her wanton plant torture / murder. Oh my god. I turned a blind eye to her wanton plant torture / murder so long as I don't have to participate. And she goes on happily throttling Mother Nature to death in the backyard. Oh my god. Okay. Ooh. All right. This is some strong wording. Okay. Our problem is that my wife is going on a vacation for 3 weeks and now wants me to water her plants. I can do this very easily, so could anyone, but I have a moral objection. I don't want to be involved in her cottage industry of death. To me, I'll be participating in keeping these tortured souls alive, maybe even giving them hope of a better life. Okay. Oh, only to have it dashed when she returns in 3 weeks to resume her reign of terror. Oh my god, do you really love this woman? Jeez, this is so harsh to talk about your wife. Oh my god. My wife is claiming I'm being dramatic. I am, but I don't think I'm wrong. So we've decided to ask Reddit and will abide by the crowd's decision. Am I the asshole for not wanting to water her plants? Oh my god. Okay, this is so funny. Like, this is hilarious. Her reign of terror and happily throttling Mother Nature to death in the backyard. Oh my god. This guy is a nut. Oh my gosh. Okay. There is 2 edits to this, so let's read the edits before I give my response. He said, okay, wow, this ended up getting way more polarizing than I thought. The consensus seems to be that I would be the asshole, or that I already am and never loved my wife and deserve to die alone. Whoa. So I will definitely look after the plants. I'm hoping that any good children's movie I can grow from being a grumpy, I don't even know what that word is, to being grumpy, to having a heartwarming relationship with a row of cherry tomatoes. My wife, who has read through your replies, notes that she is mortified at being outed as a registered plant abuser and will certainly try to do better. I myself have learned not to criticize her online because, just as in real life, people like her a hell of a lot more than me, which she has cackling about for hours. Thanks, everyone. And edit 2 is, guys, I threw in the towel like 2 2 hours after I made the post. It's now 24 hours later. My wife has taken to randomly quoting posts from this thread that make me out to be the actual Saddam Hussein. Then she cackles. She's a cackler. There's like 600 comments calling me an asshole, and somehow it's not over. I've done the math, and I won't win another argument until 2057. Please, mercy. In all caps, it says, I will water the plants. Oh my. Okay. This is a lot. Okay, this is one hell of a relationship. So we have two versions of Saddam Hussein, one that kills plants and one that protests the killing of these plants. Well, the internet consensus seems to be right. Stop being fucking dramatic and just do what your wife wants. Oh my gosh, ever heard the saying, happy wife, happy life? It's actually true. Just water the plants even though they're dying. Give them that quote, hope of a better life. And hey, if you think that she's neglecting her plants so bad, why don't you try to take care of them then? I've had plants before. They're annoying to take care of. That's why I don't have them anymore. Like, it's a lot of work, especially if you have a lot of them. Yeah, this is this is like weird, and the wording is hilarious for a really low stakes situation. Your wife, the plant murderer, should take better care of her plants, considering the fact that they are living things. But yeah, just water the plants and respectfully shut up, and you'll be okay. There you go. I still can't get over some of the words in that reign of terror. Oh my gosh. Okay. Am I the asshole for refusing to pay my brother back for things that he said I could, quote, have? To cut a very, very long story short, I was raised by my grandma and believed she was my mother until I was 11, until I was 13 when social services got involved and felt she could no longer care for me properly and I was going to be placed with a foster family. My older brother, who's actually my uncle, had already moved out, gave me a few things before I left. These things were a PS2, a few games, an old electric guitar and an amp, 2 pairs of jeans, and a hoodie. My foster parents already owned an Xbox 360, and I also found a PS2 Slim and some more games by an elderly neighbor when I helped him clear out his attic, and he said I could keep them. So I never really used the PS2 my brother gave me, and the first Christmas I was with my foster parents, they bought me a new electric guitar and amp. Once I had hit 14, my boobs went from an A cup to a double D in a year, so the hoodie didn't fit anymore. And when I was 15, my hips and ass came in too, so the jeans no longer fit either. My brother's stuff all got stored in the garage, but unfortunately they all got ruined during a flood. My foster parents showed me what a loving, caring family was really like and ended up adopting me when I was 16, and I now consider them my parents and I love them very much. However, a couple years ago I decided I want to try to reconnect with my grandma, and we've now developed a more normal relationship, and she seemed genuinely remorseful over what had happened and her lack of contact over the years, but I hadn't seen my brother until recently when he showed up whilst I was visiting. Initially, it was really nice, and we talked about how the past few years have been for both of us, and I was really happy until he said, "So can I have my stuff back now?" I asked what he meant, and he said, "You know the stuff I gave you when you left? The PS2, the games, the clothes, my guitar." I replied with, "Oh, them? Well, you said I could have them and not borrow them, so I consider them to be gifts." He said, "Look, I only gave them to you because I felt sorry for you. Just give them back." I explained that everything had gotten damaged, and he said, "Typical. You know, if you weren't such a fuck up, you wouldn't have had to be put in care anyway. You can pay me back for all that stuff. That's like £600 you owe me." I laughed in his face and said, "No way am I paying you back that much. If you really want the PS2 back that badly, I have a slim version that you can have, even though I'd like to keep it. Even though they were definitely gifts and I'm not paying you a damn penny." He called me a fucking bitch and an asshole and then stormed out. My grandma said, quote, "Don't worry about him. I'm sure he won't be around you again," after he stormed out. I only work as a barista, and the cost of living crisis, I barely have enough money to pay for Christmas presents for everyone this year. £600 is literally unattainable for me, and I'm wondering, am I the asshole? He never said he expected them back, but he never explicitly said they were gifts, only that I could have them. This is a a lot to unpack. Well, I'm glad that, first of all, that the foster care system actually worked out for you, because that's a very broken system that I hope to talk about more eventually on here, and bring light to it. That's another thing. But yeah, I'm glad that you found a family that was like really loving. And you know, when someone gives you something and just says have them, we all are gonna assume that it's a gift. You can say, oh, return this to me in 5 years if you want it back. But if you say have them and don't come looking for them in like a few days, then I'm just going to assume that they're mine. And it getting damaged is very out of your control. Like, that's not something that's in your realm of control. Floods happen, and unfortunately, the shit got damaged. Your uncle and his reaction is very unregulated for an adult to have. I'm wondering what's triggering such a strong reaction in him to the thing where, like, to the point where he's saying, like, you're a fucking bitch, you owe me 600 pounds, like, all of this stuff. Like, that's crazy to me that he would blow up like that. And it's very hurtful to hear when he says, like, I felt sorry for you, so just give them back. That's just so wrong for a family member to do, especially considering the fact that she didn't even know this guy was her uncle until, like, after the fact. So I don't think you're an asshole. Like, screw him. If he wants £600 or whatever, he can go fucking work for it then. If he wants all of his stuff back, then he can go buy new versions of it, because he gave it to you and then it was out of your control whether it got damaged. So if he wants it back, he can go work for it. Okay? So you're not an asshole. Am I the asshole for bringing down the vibes of the group hangout that I'm not even gonna go to? Context: I, 17 female, am currently friends with 4 other girls. To be honest, I never liked them, not for petty reasons, but because I never felt like I belonged. In a group with an odd number of people, I felt like a fifth wheel all the time. And it doesn't stop at that. They see me as the bullyable friend. Oh, that's one. That is a tongue twister. While it would be fun if it was a now and then thing, it happens every single day. I've always been a very defensive person and always ready to fight back because of my slurred and quick speech, and I always become the butt of the joke. Whenever they try to, quote, attack me or roast me, I try and fight back, but they just gang up on me and make me feel like shit. So now I get scared to even talk or voice stuff out. But the rare moments I do, I obviously get put down because of it. I'm someone who likes touch, and whenever I try to get affection, they make up excuses saying they're not into touch and avoid me like the plague. When the next moment I see them, they get all huggy with other people. But yeah, anyways, that's a context required for now, but I'll add more if needed. Now, a few days ago, my friends made plans to watch a movie, and I heard that the reviews of said movie were not good and wanted to have a good time and go to a good movie. So I just bring it up to one of them as usual, I get ignored because I'm, quote, stupid. So I was talking to this other girl, let's call her G, in the group chat, and jokingly brought up that another movie was better than the one that we're going to. And yes, of course, they, except G, who went offline, get offended and attacked me. They told me I was only salty because I wasn't going to the movies with them. I had work to do, and other mean stuff. And again, as usual, I try to play it cool and not get too hurt. Later, I take the stuff to G and I tell her, LMAO, I got attacked, and she called me an asshole for bringing down the excitement of the hangout when one of them was a movie lover. I said I just voiced an opinion. She said that opinions are meant to be argued and that I should have expected backlash when I started an opinion. Whoa. Oh my gosh. I said that opinions differ and are to be respected. In the midst of this, I got angry at her because basically called the movie fan a rich girl who does whatever she wants, because G said she doesn't care about a movie being good and just wanted to enjoy it. As soon as I hit send, I regretted it because I was no one to comment on another person's family and income and couldn't take it back. I immediately apologized to both G and MF. movie fan. Oh my gosh, okay. We couldn't have just used another letter. The next day, I begged G to keep this stuff between us, as I didn't want things to get shitty in the group chat in the last month of our senior year. But she said that movie fan might have read our chats, which of course spiked my anxiety, like everything else related to them. I felt really shitty for ruining a year-long friendship because of my stupid brain, and now, out of the 4, G and movie fan are ignoring me. One of them is giving me really dry replies, and the other is unbothered, I think. So am I the asshole for bringing the group's vibe down, or am I the asshole for sharing an opinion? Oh my god. First of all, these people are not your fucking friends. Jesus, your friends are gaslighters, first of all, which is leading you to gaslight yourself into thinking that you're an asshole. Screw G. G's a bitch. G can go to hell, because she shouldn't be talking to you like that. And if she's truly your friend, she's gonna stand up for you, especially against 4 other people that clearly don't like you. And then movie fan, the comment that you made is not insanely offensive when you call her a rich girl who does whatever she wants. There's a lot of people like that. Yeah, I mean, this is so shitty. And I picked this one because I've been in like similar things throughout my life. And I've been there too. I think when you know someone's not your friend, when you tell them an opinion and they completely and directly attack it, and they're gaslighting you because they're saying that you're an asshole for sharing that opinion. Another thing about the physical affection things, like, I'm physically affectionate with some of my friends, like a handful of them. Otherwise, I don't like it. So there might be a little communication thing in there where it's like, oh, they don't like it and you do, and there's not, like, that feeling isn't being communicated enough for it to be, like, comfortable. But your friends are dicks. I think you should drop all of them. You know what? It is not the end of the world to ruin a friendship from high school. There is, almost 8 billion people in this world? You can find better people than these douchebags that are actually going to listen to you and treat you right and not attack you when you share a simple opinion like, I think we should go see another movie, because that's just not how friendship and healthy friendship works. Yeah, I think you just gotta drop these friends. You didn't bring the vibe down at all. Your friends are just dickheads. So, yeah, don't fret and drop all of these people right now, because these are fake people that you shouldn't have in your life. So, I think, yeah, it's a clear communication problem, but also these other people that you're with clearly aren't good at communicating in any aspect, and they think that you guys have like a hierarchy and you're at the bottom of that. So I think drop them, go watch the good movie by yourself, because independence, you can go do things by yourself. Newsflash. And you know what? So what if movie fan read the chats? Let her. You know, you just have to let people do shit sometimes. So if she's gonna go get all mad, whatever, you're a gaslighter and an asshole. So get fucked, basically. You are not... when you say bringing the vibes down, like, that just shows that you're kind of gaslighting yourself, because you're just sharing a thought with people that should respect it in theory, and they're not doing that. So you're not an asshole. All your quote friends are assholes. This was another really fun episode. I think I'm going to do this every time I run out of things to talk about. So I love reading Am I the Asshole Reddit threads, because it's so funny that people on the internet subject themselves to almost public humiliation and seek out the internet's opinion. So I think that's funny. But anyways, thank you so much for listening to another episode of Project Honesty. You can find Project Honesty on Spotify at Project Honesty, or on YouTube at Project_Honesty. And to keep up to date with new episodes, you can head over to Project Honesty's Instagram, which is at Project_Honesty24. Our TikTok is Project.Honesty. And we also have a website. The link for that website is in our Instagram bio. To help spread this podcast everywhere, tell a friend or share with family about Project Honesty. And you can direct them over to the Instagram, TikTok, Spotify, YouTube, or website to help them learn more. Subscribe, follow, and click the bell icon for updates when I post. And remember, the more listeners, the bigger the family.